Hey, what's up, everyone? So, recently I've been hearing a lot about product managers using AI tools to prototype and relying more on working prototypes rather than, let's say, user stories and so on. So, I was a little confused as to how people are able to do this because if you don't have anything, if you have to start from scratch, then I can understand that you can use tools like Replit or Lovable and do something like that. But if you were in ServiceNow and you had all of these things already built, which is my situation, then how would you mock something up? And it was not very clear to me. I tried to look for this information, and also I could not find any good resources on this. So I tried to do a little bit of digging and tinkering myself. And eventually, what I found was with tools like Windsurf, this is actually very easy to do. And I was just very pleasantly surprised at how easy this is to prototype existing screens and and how valuable it is. So this short video is about that. If you have something, an application that is existing, and you do not have any development experience at all, you still want to do some prototyping of what a new feature may look like, then this is the tool for you, or this is the video for you. And the two things I'm going to be using today is one is I just have my ServiceNow screen here. So I'm going to be making some changes on the story form or a prototype of some feature, one feature I want to see on the story form. And I will use Windsurf to mock that up and see how that might look like. Right, so this is what I'm going to do. That is the objective of the video. All right, so if you want to do this, first thing is you need to have some sort of a prototype in Windsurf that that is a replica of what you have in ServiceNow, right? So I will take a screenshot of this. This is very simple to do. I will take a screenshot of this, go to Windsurf, and I already have the screenshot here. I will say, I'm trying to mock up this screen and build a working prototype. Can you please take this screenshot and create a screen for me that resembles this? Please use a combination of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript because I want the look and feel to be similar, and I also want some functionality built in. Right, so I've tried this a few times, and it's helpful to just in the beginning tell it that, hey, I need you to use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So that's when it creates it, then it will create it properly, and you will actually be able to make changes in the screen. So that's very useful. And then the other thing is you should always say please and thank you because these things, when they take over, they should remember who was kind to you, kind to them, and who was not. So now you can see that it's talking. So that typically these things, Windsurf and Cloud Code, how they work is they create a plan, and then they will execute to that plan. So I was interested hearing the podcast, and it was the product manager of Cloud Code who said that they came up with this idea. Somebody in their team came up with this idea, and I don't know if Cloud Code did it first or Windsurf or Cursor, whomever did it first. But this is where I learned it, that they were finding that the tool was very good in executing steps, but it is failing to execute all of them. So some engineer on their team thought that, hey, humans learn to do things by adding them in a to-do app. So probably it will be the same way for LLMs. And then they came up with this idea to have a plan and a to-do type of a format for whatever the tool is going to do, right? So this has kind of become very common now. I think I've seen this in uh, Cloud Code, of course, and in Windsurf, and also Cursor has this. So this is what this is doing at the moment. It's just saying that I'm creating an initial plan, and it is analyzing the screenshot and will create a working prototype. So on this screen, you can already see that it has started, its work, and there's a task list and so forth. So I have Playwright installed, which is MCP that helps it to open browsers and whatnot. I don't think it's useful in this scenario, but it is useful in some other scenarios. But for this, I mentioned that because that is the only MCP I have installed. So I don't think that you need to install anything. If you have a Windsurf, you can just start doing that, or at least attempt to do that, and it should just work for you. But if you feel that there is any difference between what you are doing and what I'm showing, then maybe it's because of some MCP that I've installed and it is using that I fully don't see. Okay, so it's now creating it's already created the HTML, so that's good. It's creating the CSS now, and then ultimately it will also create JavaScript, which at this point it will not do much, but once we have something that is running, we can then ask it to create functionalities and so forth. So the functionality that I was thinking about is there is a thing that has been coming up again and again, is that at some point your acceptance criteria in a story has to be logged in, because our team is finding that many times they go in testing and then they are being asked to change the acceptance criteria and so on. So that's not really a good thing. I mean, you need to be agile, but then how much agile can you be? So now here you can see that it is asking me to run this Python command to run an HTTP server. So that's nothing but because you're asking it to create HTML, CSS, JavaScript, it needs something to run that web server, right? So that's all it is. So that's what it is doing. And so apparently this is all complete now, and it is asking us to, let's just accept all. So when I accept everything, it should, all these files will be then written, and it is saying that the website preview is already available. So let's open that. Okay, so you see that this is our ServiceNow form: number, theme, epic, state point, sprints, product release, etc. And then this is what Windsurf has created, right? So we just took a screenshot, gave that to Windsurf and said that, hey, just create a replica of that form. So it has done a pretty good job, I would say. It's done quite a good job. And you can iterate on this. If you are not happy with what you see, then you can iterate on this and ask it to make changes, right? In this case, I think I'm happy with whatever this is for my requirement. And so I'm just now going to go on my working prototype. So now what do we want to implement? So the feature that we have in mind is that when something is ready for testing, at that time the acceptance criteria should be logged in, or it should not be editable, so that the developers, they don't have this changed on them when they are at testing. That's like really bad, right? So this is the thing that we want to mock. So now this is just, I know from experience, the state has all of these drop down values, right? But how would from a screenshot Windsurf know what are the drop down values? So it just created what it thought would be good drop down values and new active resolved closed. It doesn't quite match what you have here. So you have here draft, ready, work in progress, ready for testing, complete, and cancelled. So then the first order of business becomes that we have to fix this, right? We have to tell it that, hey, this looks great, but I need you to edit the drop down values in the state field, and these are draft, ready, or maybe I should capitalize this, probably draft, ready, work in progress, ready for testing, in testing, complete, and cancelled. Right, is that what we see here? Draft, ready, work in progress. Yeah, okay. So let's just give this command, so that now you will see that it will update the list of values in the mockup that it has created, and then we'd be able to go there and make some changes and whatnot. So again, what we need is probably at ready to testing and beyond, we do not want the acceptance criteria to be editable, right? So that's what we will do. So it says that it has already done that. So let's see whether that has taken place or not. I just refresh this, And yeah, so here you have ready, work in progress, ready for testing and so forth. Okay, so now for our prototype, I would like to implement a feature where if the story is ready for testing or beyond, then the acceptance criteria is read only. And you do that, please. Okay, so now you are already ready. So I don't know how long, maybe it's been 5 minutes or whatever, and not very long. So in our internally, what we've done is we have created a fairly high fidelity mockup of this and put that in a Git repo, so that now for my team at least what we are doing is anytime we need to make changes to any functionality, and I mean not necessarily the story form, but any functionality that we work on, we have that prototype, and then that gets constantly improved by people. So it's the same file. So you can do the same thing. Just one person creates it, and everybody can use it and improve it, so that you have that ready. And okay, so it says that it has already done that. So it's telling us what it has done, which we actually do not need to read. Wonderful. So let's say ready for testing, and acceptance criteria is locked. So this is amazing. I mean, in the, one is it is locked. We didn't ask it to give any message or anything, but in its own good judgment, it has said that hey, you've locked this. You should give some message to the user as to why this has been locked. So let's say in testing, complete, cancel, right? So this is, you can test the mockup is working quite well. And what happens when I put it on draft? Okay, so when I put it on draft, see this also, I did not explicitly state this, but this is a useful thing. I mean, you can imagine a situation where if you're working with the dev team, you may not specify this in your initial story, and then you're like, hey, once it is non-editable, should it always be non-editable, or can it be editable if I move the status back to ready or draft, a work in progress? So in this case it is, which is actually what we want. And so as you look at this, it occurs to you, or probably I should have thought of this earlier, but there needs to be a message to the user that this is going to happen. So there's a new feature, and how can we inform the user that this is going to happen? So let's just ask our friend here. The yellow warning message is great. Oh, it's not really a warning message, right? So yellow message is great, but can we add info message that this is what will happen in other states? And can you also expand on the message to tell them if they the story back in one of the previous states? Will become editable. So two things, right? So when you look at this, it occurs to you that, hey, one, you need to tell them that this is going to happen, and then secondly, you need to tell them that it's how do you get out of it. So let's see what it does. Now another benefit of this, which actually is also, one is all of these things, when you are just writing it, it's not very clear. When you are building a Figma, etc., that's definitely better. But this story is a very simple story. I mean, this is not much. But as you get more and more advanced, and things become more complicated, then it becomes more useful to have these sort of working prototypes, which are, as you can see, it's like very quick to build. So again, let's put this. Okay, so when you put this on draft, you don't have a message, or you do have a message. Okay, so you have a message always, and it says acceptance criteria can be modified. It will become read only when ready for testing or later states. And when it becomes read only, okay, so now there is an error here, because at ready to testing or testing, you do not, you want the message to actually state that the message should change basically, right? So let's just tell it that okay, and then I'm sure it'll just find the error and then sort of fix it. So in a way, you are also, by doing this, you're also foreseeing the future errors that may occur, right? So that's another difference between this and Figma. So because this is sort of mimicking what a dev might do, you are foreseeing what the problems might be later on. So it kind of helps you to come up with the test cases. So it says that it has changed that. Let's change that or not. Okay. So to make changes, move. Okay, perfect. So now this is what it's happening, and great. So this is working. Thanks. So never forget to thank the people, your new overlords, and so this, as you can see, I don't know how long it took me, maybe 10 minutes or so, but it is really, really powerful to do this. You just take a screenshot, give it the screenshot, and it does a pretty good job at replicating what is in the screenshot. And then finally, I think this is like the height of laziness from me, but this is what I actually did is I said that now that you know this functionality, and you also know our user story form, can you write the story that describes what we just implemented? So I mean, this is kind of funny that I mean, why write all of this, right? So the thing just build this, it knows what my user story form is, so it can just write the user story. And actually, what I found is things like Windsurf are very, very good at writing tasks. So obviously they are meant for coding and whatnot, but if this tool can predict your next line of code, it's very easy for it to predict the next sentence that you are going to state. So this is something that is not very widely publicized or very well understood even, I would say, right now. But for me personally, all of my writing work is now in Windsurf. I just start with a .md file and then copy paste it. So you can say that what it has a short description, right? It has a description, or here is the short description. Here is the acceptance criteria, and I mean, it's pretty good. Once you have this combination of the user story and the mock-up that go with it, the working prototype that goes with it, it becomes very easy for you to have a conversation with your development team, with other stakeholders, that hey, this is what we have in mind, what do you think, and so forth. And it does not require any programming skill at all, as you saw. So please give it a try. And typically at the end of each of these, YouTube videos or LinkedIn posts, I kind of say that if this is the only thing you are going to use this tool for, then maybe it's not worth buying the license. More and more, my thinking has changed on that. Is that you should actually invest in your career and learning these tools. And if you don't have a license for at least one of these things, it doesn't matter. I mean, Windsurf, Cursor, Cloud Code, you need to invest in yourself. You need to invest in these things and really test it out for yourself, how it works, and push the boundaries a little bit of what you know, what you can do, what is known in the world at this point with what this can be done. And if you found this video helpful, please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And if you have any questions about this, please leave a comment and I'll do my best to answer them. All right. Thank you, everyone. Take care.